Those of you who know me know that I'm at Duquesne University, which means I'm a teacher. And so we're in school, teammates. We are in school. So if you will take your insert where it says the Acts, first reading from Acts, we're going to be referring to that. Okay, so in our reading, was that Katie? Who read today? Katie, right? Yes, okay. Katie did such a fine job. And I want to review what Katie read. In our reading from Acts, we heard Katie tell us the words of Peter. You got the whole scene. You heard what she read, you read it. Okay, you got the whole scene. So there's Peter, and he says, "Rulers of the people and elders." I mean, this man is serious. "If we are questioned today because of a good deed done to someone who was sick and are asked how this man has been healed, let it be known to all of you and to all the people of Israel that this man is standing before you in good health." Help me now. "By the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth." He's healed by the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Now, what if the question was asked sometime in the future, how has this planet been healed? Would we be able to say that our faith in Jesus Christ of Nazareth and in one another led us to this amazing action? Today we celebrate Earth Day. When was the first one? 1970. 1970. Some of us remember it. That was 48 years ago, teammates. 48 years ago, April 24th, 1970 was the first Earth Day. It was the first time that we as Americans and as the whole world took a long, hard look at what we have done and are doing to our planet and made a big deal about changing that pattern. Now, you may have your ideas about how much we've done since 1970. But in any case, we began at least then to ask the question as a worldwide planetary community. We can work to heal a person, as it says, as Katie read to us in Acts. But if this person is living on a sick planet, then how effective are our efforts? Now, we all know that St. Brendan's is a happening place, right? Stuff happens here. You care about one another. If there's anything, I met a couple from the 8 o'clock. I know it's a different church, the 8 o'clockers and the 10. I get it. This couple had come, actually, they had come from Calvary, and they were telling me they were so impressed when they came here because of how welcoming and friendly and wonderful you are. And so they wanted to stay, and they have stayed. You care about one another. I remember that brothers deal. Do you remember that? One time I was here and y'all were putting stuff, man, that was a big, hairy deal. You were stuffing envelopes like there was no tomorrow. And you do that every week. You are always doing something for someone. Not so long ago, you showed the documentary Fence Line. You were, at that point, trying to alert the people here and the around you about what environmental racism and social justice look like and what they feel like. A quick look at your website. Anybody ever look at your website? Yeah. Look at your website sometime. You'll be so impressed. You say, wow, I want to go to that church. there's one little thing after another shooting by, showing you how you do this for these folks and that for those folks. You are amazing. You are a community of people who try to make this world a better place. That's who St. Brendan's is. Now, this year's theme for Earth Day, anybody know what the theme is? Before I tell you? You know I wouldn't come in unprepared. The theme for this year is End Plastic Pollution. One time I was in Washington, and there had been a big storm. Washington, not our little Washington here. And the Potomac, where the water was, it wasn't. There was so much junk and plastics and bottles and this and glass and that and plastic and it was overwhelming. It was sickening. Have you ever seen that kind of stuff? When the water was and then the water ain't, and it's, yeah. So, and that's the case all over the world. So, just as Peter, in our reading from Acts, proclaims the healing of a man to be done in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, what if we all put our minds to it and resolved to end plastic pollution on our planet in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth? It would be, even just around here, think what could happen if each one of us did what we could to end plastic pollution. In the time of Jesus and Peter, they didn't know plastic. That's one of our marvelous inventions, isn't it? And it's been wonderful for all kinds of reasons. And we can imagine that Jesus and Peter didn't pollute with the great gusto that we do. But they must have done something, because we still keep finding these little pottery shards and all that. You know, they must have left stuff laying around too. But they didn't have as much to leave laying around as we do. Apparently, the plastic bottles and stuff that we have will be around 2,000 years from now. That's kind of shocking. But the individual that needs to be healed today is the source of our life. We have no other substance than what this earth provides. Last week, the other day, I did a funeral at Holy Cross in Homewood. And you can look it up on page 499 if you don't believe me. But in the words of the commendation, it says, "You are dust, and to dust you shall return." Now these words are so striking. When else do we hear those words? Ash Wednesday. When ashes are imposed on our foreheads, we hear that you are dust, and to dust you shall return. Sisters and brothers, we are dust. We are the substance of the earth. Where else could we have come from? The molecules and all that came together to form us. We are the stuff of the earth. We are the very substance of the earth. We are living dust. There can be no lasting healing if we do not consider what we are doing with the life of this planet that we have. A wonderful man named Tom Berry wrote all kinds of stuff, and I read every word the man wrote. He's dead now. You know, we all know people. That's what happens. A lot of people you know been dead. This man says, we should be clear about what happens when we destroy the living forms of this planet. The first consequence is that we destroy modes of divine presence. If we have a wonderful sense of the divine, it is because we live amid such awesome magnificence. Now, I look up there and I see speakers and stuff. You look out and what do you see? You see magnificence. You see the beauty of this world. And isn't that what you want to see? You want to see beauty. You want to see life. You want to see green. We want to feel spring too. I know, I got it. I do too. And doesn't this help us? Now, I spent 16 and a half years at Holy Cross in Homewood, and Homewood does not look like this. Homewood is kind of a depressed area, to say the very least. You don't want to live in Homewood. You want to live here, where it's magnificently beautiful. And where it's magnificently beautiful takes you to God, doesn't it? It's beautiful. Think about how you come to appreciate the divine in our natural world. I was with a friend yesterday, and her niece in Florida has sent her a picture of a sunset. Why? Because it was beautiful. It's just beautiful. It lifts us up. It makes us feel alive. Do you remember a ladybug crawling on your hand? It just takes something. It's amazing. Think in terms, we get it because we're Pittsburghers, of a warm breeze on your face. It's a wonderful thing. It puts us in the mind of God, and life and love and that which is way beyond us, that which we cannot produce. On this Earth Day, sisters and brothers, let us think about that man in Acts. He was healed, Peter tells us, by the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. And I want to ask you, what is the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth doing for you? In his name, are you moving in the direction of healing the earth, or are you content to further destroy it? In his name, are you content to let others destroy the world about us? Or are you taking steps to heal the only planet we have been given to live on? When we think about just plastic, can't we do something? Earth Day reminds us that we have many decisions. Perhaps as individuals and as a parish, St. Brendan's may want to move even further in the direction of being a healing presence in our world. You have the goods, you have the will, you have the mind, the education, you have all that it takes. You, St. Brendan's, can move this world in new and better directions. We're going to be waiting around to see what you do.